It is nice to have an opportunity to visit. You are knowing what you are wanting. You are appreciating the contrast of your time and place. You are lying. You forget we read your mind, or more importantly, your vibration. But you are willing to admit that contrast is a good thing because it causes you to focus. And focusing is creating. Yes, it is, you know, even more than what you move around with action. You are the creator of your experience, and you create through focusing your thought. So when you are pondering, you are creating. When you are imagining, you are creating. When you are remembering, you are creating. When you are pretending, whenever you are focusing, whether it is past or present or future, you are creating. To understand that creating is really a 3-step process, that the contrast helps you to give birth to step 1, which is the birthing of a desire. And so contrast helps you do that, doesn't it? Don't you always know more clearly that you want more money when you don't have enough? Or that you want to be well when you don't feel so well? Or that you want someone to play with when you feel lonely and have no one to play with? And so your desires are born out of the variety that you're living. And when that desire is realized within you, even before you speak it, you don't even have to speak it. A rocket of desire emanates from you because remember, you are vibrational beings, and you transmit your rocket, and your rocket precedes you into your future experience. We call it a pre-paving rocket. And source energy, who understands the nature of your creation, focuses upon that rocket too. And your future satisfaction, your future gratification, your future creation is worked upon and added to, and is beginning and is expanding and is yours. Not only does that rocket precede you, but it dovetails with every other rocket that you send off. So your future experience is constantly being formed by your now experience of identifying preference. So when something happens and you don't like it, you send out an automatic rocket of what you would prefer instead. And your future experience, it would be nice if you could see it in some ways, although knowing what we know about you, you'd all be looking there instead of here. And here is where all of your power is. And so we are really not wanting to turn your attention too much to this floodgate of well-being and source energy that is surrounding the nucleus of the desire that you have set forth. In other words, if you could see an aerial view as we see it, you would realize that your future experience is filled with all of the things that you've been launching into it. That's step 1. Contrast makes you want stuff, so you ask. Step 2 is not your work. That's the part we were telling you about, where source energy focuses upon what you're asking for, and the laws of the universe come into place, and the fairies of the universe, as we like to call it, massage and tend to your creations. We would like to tell you that your creations are all being held carefully for you, where they are expanding and thriving, by the way, in a sort of vibrational escrow, just waiting for you to deliberately or indeliberately apply step 3. And step 3 is really what we call this gathering. We've named it the art of allowing. Step 3 is your work. Step 3 is where you find some way, somehow, to become a vibrational match to what you're asking for. In other words, when you ask for more money, the universe says, done. And avenues and circumstances and events begin aligning for you. But when you stand in your now and you complain that you don't have enough money, you hold yourself a vibrational mismatch to the desire that is yours, that is being held for you in vibrational escrow. So it's yours, it's there, but you have to let it in. And the way you let it in is you become a vibrational match to what you're asking for. So you have to focus upon what you want rather than focus upon what you don't want. But that's tricky, isn't it? Because after all, wasn't it contrast? Wasn't it moving around through things wanted and unwanted? And wasn't it the unwanted things that really gave birth to a lot of your desires? It was. In other words, it was living without something wanted. It was feeling the discomfort of having something wanted not happen, that you launch and continue to launch, you clarify, you add amendment after amendment after amendment to your desires. Your desires are changing constantly, and source energy is keeping up with every one of them. The facilities of the universe and source energy, or God, whatever you're wanting to call it, keep up with your creative endeavor. It is our promise to you that there is nothing that you cannot create. No exception. No state of being you can't change, no state of having, no state of doing, nothing that cannot be changed. We would like you to catch a glimpse with us of your future experience, because it is full of all kinds of things that you've been asking for that you have not been letting in. So a gathering like this is really tailored toward helping you to find vibrational alignment with your source energy. And the way you find vibrational alignment with your source energy is by feeling your way there, by being aware of the emotional guidance system within you and realizing that because your source energy is pure positive energy, the heart of you is pure positive energy. You are liquid love. You are pure positive energy. You are resistant free. Do you get that? That there is allowing, which is full connection to who you are, and there is resistance or disallowing, and that on the allowing end it feels good, and on the disallowing end it feels not good. It's a tricky thing that many of you have done to each other, where somehow you've convinced yourself that if it feels good, it isn't. And if there's a lot of struggle and suffering in it, then it's virtuous and worthy. And we say, if it feels good, that means you are achieving vibrational alignment with the whole of that which you are. Negative emotion, that empty feeling of negative emotion, whether you call it fear or anger, the more severe it is, the emptier it feels. But can't you feel that it is the disallowing of who you really are that you are experiencing when you are in the midst of negative emotion? So we're not here to encourage you against negative emotion, because we think negative emotion is helpful any more than we would want you to put Novocaine in your fingers so you don't feel the hot stove. It is helpful to know what you are doing vibrationally. What we are encouraging is that you be aware of how you are feeling, and more important, you are aware that the vibration, which is your point of attraction, and the way it feels are always a match. We're going to talk a lot today about emotions, and we'll show you, if you're wanting, how to move up the emotional scale. We want you to realize that you have the ability, no matter what's happening and no matter how you feel, to change the vibration. But it takes some focus, and most of all, it takes understanding what the work is. 99% of your creation is complete before you begin to see the evidence. In other words, you've lived life, you've launched rockets, source has received your rocket, law of attraction has acted on your rocket, actualization is beginning to form around your rocket of desire, but there's no physical evidence yet. So if you're counting on the physical evidence before you cheer up, then you have a sort of gap, don't you? Physical friends will say, well, Abraham, if I could be over there, I would feel so much better. And we say, we know, but you've got to feel better before you can get over there. And they say, well, can't I just be the one exception in all of the universe? Can't you just make it better? Can't you change the circumstance so that I can feel better? And we say, it's an inside job. You've got to find a way to shift your vibration, and then whatever it is you've been asking for can flow easily into your experience. So now, here's the most important part of all of this, and really a sort of leading edge place for many of you. For most of you are not aware of this, and as you hear it and think about it and play with it over the next few days, so many things are going to fall into place for you. So many things that you have been holding yourself apart from for no good reason will begin to flow into your experience. In fact, an avalanche of stuff you've been wanting is lined up right outside your door. And when you open the door a crack, all kinds of things will begin flowing in. We were visiting with a woman recently who was experiencing, even in the moment that we were talking with her, very much pain in her hips. She has arthritis. And she said the pain was nearly constant. It varied in degree, but it was severe. And we said to her, you know, there are two journeys that you are living concurrently at all times. There's the journey that is already manifested that you're observing and talking about. In other words, there's the stuff that is manifested that you call reality. We call it reality, but you call it reality. It's more important to you than it is to us because we know how temporary it is. We know how changeable it is. We know that it's only the platform from which you launch more rockets of desire. And we know that your now reality is the time in which you adjust your vibration in order to open the door more than a crack to allow more of what you are wanting in. So we don't want to give reality as much attention as you do. We want to call it reality. Temporary reality. So we said to this woman, you have two journeys that are running concurrently. You've got the reality or your awareness of what has manifested. But then you have this emotional reality. You have this vibrational reality. You have an opportunity on your emotional journey to adjust your vibration. You can't do much about the reality that is manifested. Some of you say, Abraham, I've jumped out of an airplane. I'm at 40,000 feet. I have no parachute. What should I do? And we say, hold on, it will be over soon. Because sometimes if you wait until the very last minute to begin adjusting your vibration, there is a momentum factor involved that you sort of have to live out. But we're wanting to talk to you pre-manifestation. We're wanting to talk to you about what you're doing with your vibration now. And so we want to call your attention to this emotional journey that you're always upon. So as we were talking to our friend with arthritic hips in great pain, we said, you could be a person who has arthritis in your hips and pain who is fearful, or you could be a woman who has arthritis in her hips and pain and hopeful. And the vibrational difference between being fearful and hopeful is a huge vibrational difference. Now, as any moment in time is not, it's not a big enough vibrational difference to give you instant manifestation. Nothing is. And friends, trust us on this. You're glad that you don't have instant manifestation. This buffer of time is really your friend. It's your opportunity to observe and to ponder and to visualize and to remember. It's your opportunity to take an emotional journey that might be different from what you're actually observing. People say to us, Abraham, how can I be living this uncomfortable situation of not enough money, or my lover has left me, or my body is broken, and find a vibration that will change it? And we say, there are a lot of ways to do that. You just have to understand that that is your work. You cannot continue to offer the same vibration and have anything change in your experience. And the reason that most people do not offer a different vibration is because they are so enamored with what is reality. Do you know that the majority of the vibration that the majority of people offer is offered in response to what they are observing? When you have the ability to imagine, you have the ability to remember, you have so many options other than looking at what is. And this is the part that we really want you to hear today. Even if you're standing in the midst of a reality, you have the ability to look at it in a way that makes you feel fear, or to look at it in a way that makes you feel hope. And so that's why we are referring to the emotional journey. It's the emotional journey up the emotional meter. And when you understand that the way you feel is the key to this, now you're on your way. Thinking your way through it is harder because do you know how magnetic thoughts are? So if something's been happening and you've been observing it and you've been talking about it, you've activated that vibration within you. Whatever you give your attention to, you activate within your vibration. We want you to make friends with your vibration wherever it is. In other words, we want you to understand the vibrational nature of whatever it is that you've been thinking about, and understand that it is illogical, it cannot be done, it defies the laws of physics for you to be offering a vibration of despair and all of a sudden jump over to a vibration of appreciation. Those vibrational frequencies are too far apart. You can't set your radio dial on 6:30 a.m. and hear what's being broadcast on 98.6 FM. The frequencies have to match up. And so when you've been focusing upon something that is causing you to feel the emotion that is evidence of the vibration of despair or fear, you don't have access to those thoughts that feel like appreciation, not in that moment. Joseph Campbell gave you some wonderful words. He said, follow your bliss. And we have never heard words spoken that are more accurate to what we know about your guidance system and who you are and what you deserve and what you're worthy of. And if you could do it, would lead you to the fulfillment of your reason for being here and for a joyful life every day, all day. Following your bliss, that is very good advice.